This is your
Yeah.
official review of The Mitchells versus the Machines. I'll actually add one background detail up top because it wasn't that this was completely off my radar. It's been the fact that I've been looking forward to a movie called Connected for so long. And maybe it was just a news story that I missed, but I never fully heard that they had changed the title. So when a movie called The Mitchells versus the Machines rolled around, I didn't quite connect the dots. So I guess I just wasn't prioritizing it like I should have been. But that's what we're doing right now. When a movie gets a response like that, we want to be able to celebrate it. And, tell me if you disagree, but like I'm gonna full force celebrate this incredible animated movie right now.
I am very confident this will be in my top 20 for the year. I'm fairly confident this will make my top 10. And I'm also fairly confident this will be my favorite animated movie of the year. I can say that pretty confidently right now, barring any tremendous efforts that still come, which they can. I am not saying that can't happen, but it's a pretty damn good start.
I don't know. I'm kind of with you on that. I thought this was incredibly creative and
Yeah.
heartfelt. It really is hard for me to imagine at least another animated movie topping this. And of course, it's only the beginning of the year. We know anything is possible, but this is a very special movie. So, just in case you don't know what this is, it is streaming on Netflix and it's about a family, the Mitchell family. And their daughter in the family is gearing up to go off to college and she's not quite getting along with her father. So, in order to reconnect before she goes away to college, they decide to get rid of her plane tickets and instead road trip it to school. And as they do that, robots take over the world. And one thing leads to another, and it's all on the Mitchells to save the world. That was actually a pretty good synopsis I just gave you,
That
but
was
that
good.
synopsis does not do the charm of this movie justice and that creativity both on like a dramatic level where even if you can't fully relate to what these family members are going through, there are probably tinges of their relationships that might ring true to you. But then on top of that, when it comes to the design of the animation and then also the comedy, there are just so many clever little details that are so really like perfectly woven into the story. I can't believe how much they knocked like every single element of this out of the park.
Yeah, it's for everyone in the sense that yeah, it's a kids movie. It 100% is an animated family. That's the demographic they're aiming for. But then you have the elements of it that you just said that are number one, the comedy hits on all levels. I spent the entire time like cry laughing. There are jokes in here that will be all timers for me. And again, like it sounds like I'm really overhyping this and hyperbole and all these things, but there's a segment with Furbies that is one of the funniest things I will see the entire year. I won't say how, but you've probably seen some gifs or tweets about it. And that scene is so magnificent. And it indulges consumerism, but also indulges the sense that it's the apocalypse and anything can happen in this techno apocalypse world. So just that alone, like that won me over. But all the other elements where you have the main character dealing with being a creative in an environment that isn't really creative forward and how you try to convey to your parents. I mean, you know, I think a lot of us do. We kind of go the opposite way of what our parents might have thought, or, what in any sense like that. Like it's never about parents holding someone down. It's more about like the kid being like, all right, how do I tell my parents this is the way I'm going and how do they understand that? And I think Mitchell's nails that aspect so well. I mean, you have Danny McBride being the
So
father
good.
who is just the outdoorsman, the woodsy type. Of course, he's not going to understand why his daughter wants to go make movies. He wants to go teach her how to hunt and do all these things. But the dynamic is nailed so well. It never panders. It's very, very inclusive and very good at what it does. And it just is so unbelievably wholesome. The entire thing is just heartfelt, wholesome, but it still has that tinge of Lord and Miller. So it's still hitting you over the head with comedy. It's still hitting you over the head with like jokes that work and in jokes you have to pay attention to. This is one of those movies you have to watch like 3 times. Excuse me, 3 times to catch everything. So yeah, I loved it. I adore it. I don't know how like it's just gonna be one of my favorite movies of the year.
I can't wait to rewatch it and actually be able to look for every single detail because I've only watched it once and there's no doubt that I missed a lot. This is a true quality fun for the whole family kind of movie because with the style of animation and the zaniness of the material, the youngest of moviegoers will find something to enjoy here. But there are some lines of dialogue and scenarios throughout that really do, tug the heartstrings. One of the ones that stuck out to me most was a line about the value of technology and us living our lives online. Because I talk about this casually all the time. We can sit here and point a finger at social media and be like, oh, like Twitter is toxic, like this is all ruining our lives. But it has its bright sides, like bringing people together and introducing you to someone that you wouldn't have met otherwise. So there's part of the movie that really gets at that, and that got at me pretty good. And the characters are they're so original and refreshing. I thought the character of Katie just made for an amazing lead and anchor to the whole thing. Again, talking about best of the year quality, I would be shocked if Danny McBride's performance as her father didn't wind up being one of my favorite things. I absolutely adored the turn that the mother took in the movie, who, of course, is voiced by the incredible Maya Rudolph, who I thought should have been recognized even more for the voice work she did in the Willoughbys. And I adored the little brother, Aaron. As a dinosaur fan, how was I not going to love him? That is just a delightful character. And don't even get me started on Monchi.
Monchi is just, yep. No, we don't even have to. Monchi the dog, the loaf of bread. But I mean, like, that's how it succeeds so well in the film. And every little aspect has its in-jokes. Every aspect has its signature. Monchi isn't just there as a sidekick. Like, Monchi plays an integral part in all this. And it is, again, hilarious how they work Monchi in. They all do. Don't get me wrong. Sorry.
That's the coolest thing. And that's what the movie's all about, is they can only fight the robot apocalypse if they all work together as a family and everybody serves a purpose and has value. Two other characters that I fell so hard for were Eric and Deborah. I got such a kick out of how creative that was.
Beck, Bennett, Fred Armisen doing what they do best and just voicing robots. Yeah, again, amazing how they do robots that should be part of the apocalypse and have a crisis of conscience and want a family. That's all good. Also, like, two fun things. Number one, the perfect family. So the Mitchells have a quote unquote rival Instagram family in the sense that they're the perfect family, and they come on screen and I'm joking with who I'm watching with. And I'm just like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if they were voiced by John Legend and Chrissy Teigen? And legit, I look it up to see. I had no idea. I had no idea coming in. I look it up to see, and I'm like, of course it really is voiced by John Legend and Chrissy Teigen, because of course. And then number two, one of my favorite scenes, Twitter's been doing really good with kind of putting like behind the scenes stuff out there on Netflix on Twitter has been doing very good with that. And one of their tweets was, one of my favorite scenes is just a 10-second joke, I think, if it even lasts 10 seconds, but it's the Mitchells reliving kind of some of their past videos and past vacations. And it cuts away and it does the apocalypse moment where it's just Danny McBride's father screaming into the camera, like, come with me if you want to live, or something like that. And apparently that was almost cut because it was too expensive. That was like the expensive shot of the film because they had to do weather, which was rain, darkness, all that stuff. So it was like amping up the level of, I guess, the budgetary level on that just specific scene, and it almost got cut. And I'm so happy it didn't. And apparently it didn't, because that scene played so well in every single test screening.
You mentioning like the home video qualities, that like the entire movie has that feel like it's one of Katie's movies, and that's a really nice touch that brings it together in a way that kind of exudes such a unique personality, which is what makes every single individual in the Mitchell family so special. I really just, I can't get over it. And the animation is just damn
clean.
Beautiful.
The animation is clean, pristine.
Stunning.
It is
Stunning colors, like so vibrant. The action is thrilling and so well captured. What Lord and Miller are doing right now is game changing over at Sony Pictures Animation. They better hold tight to those guys, because they certainly know what they're doing here. And I couldn't be more thrilled with this.
And to be fair, it is directed by Michael Rianda, who also voices the child Aaron, which is hilarious. So, there's a lot coming out in this film of creators who are, you have a creator who's reliving his awkward phases and channeling into that. And like that pours through the entire film. There's just so much. The credits alone, I think someone did mention this in the chat, but the credits are all tied to childhood pictures from the entire cast, crew. Everyone has like childhood pictures, and like it was hard not to like tear up during that stuff, let alone the finale. I mean, the finale had enough that was emotionally hitting every level that I needed to. The credits roll, and then all of a sudden I think I'm done, and all of a sudden it's just like it just keeps coming, and you're like, this is adorable. This is everyone reliving like the pain and angst, but also how they use that to come together stronger as a family. And we all have those moments that we can think back to, whether or not you were a film kid, whether or not you were Katie, you still have some essence of that in you, and you still have that relatability. And that's where the film wins over completely. It's robots, it's the apocalypse, it's all this insanity, but the relatability of every single character and every single theme is just where the movie gets you every single time.
Just to throw out the names again, it's two writers and directors on this, Michael Rianda and Jeff Rowe, and big applause to them. I'm just going to roll into my score. I'm giving this one 4.5 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Decimal movie scale. And this is one of those situations where I wouldn't be surprised if after revisiting it, I bumped it up to a 5, because the more and more I watch something like this, the more details I think I'm going to pick up. And it was just, it is such a wild ride right out the gate. And it's just like, you're almost overwhelmed by the good vibes and the fun and the vibrancy of the animation. So I'm very eager to watch this one over and over. And, I say this every opportunity I get now because it excites me to no end. I want my niece to watch this movie. I know it doesn't have singing like her current favorite, Moana, but I do think the look of the whole movie, even at that young age, is really going to be a lot of fun for her.
Yeah, agreed. I think there's enough going on with the energy and the cartoonishness where you're going to hook a kid that young in it. But I will roll into my grade, and I'll ditto you. It's a 4.5. It's a 4.5 easy. It could get higher. I kind of agree with you. I can see myself rewatching this and adding another half star because I want to revisit it already. And I think that's a testament alone to the film. I can easily go to Netflix right now and put it on again because, this was just a Friday night. I threw it on and it was, I'm going to watch it during dinner. I'm going to see it. And I didn't even leave like the table where we ate dinner to go to the couch because I was just focused. It was like there was nothing there. It is fantastic. You need to watch it. 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
It's near perfect. I struggle giving a 5 out of 5, but damn, it's really close.
I struggle with the whole idea of perfection in general in any area of life in any capacity. So I hear you on the 5 out of 5 hesitancy, but we loved the movie, and I'm going to dedicate this glowing review to some patrons like Andrew, Paul, Craig. We also have Corey, Iman, and Avery, longtime members of the Patreon crew right there. You guys are the best. Thank you for being here at all and for sticking with the campaign. Please know it makes all the difference.